Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Rican Muslim. I'm your host, Rican Muslim. Ramadan Mubarak. So, came a video about Myron. People know him from Fresh and Fit podcast. He came out saying that he's kind of like a pseudo-Muslim. You know, he only asked Allah to actually guide him away from all the filth that he was kind of involved in. But you could kind of see how his viewpoints are at least changing a little bit on there. It's not going against, it's going more against the grain, and speaking out against even, in Israel, and also even Trump and his alliances to Israel and so on. So I found this video kind of interesting, so I figured I share it. So let's talk about it and we'll begin.
In the ceasefire deal, and what are some of the challenges people are warning about?
It is with pleasure that
This was the moment that Qatar's prime minister, one of the mediators, announced that Israel and Hamas had reached a deal on Gaza. Now, as we record this, there's plenty we still don't know. No final document has been published, some details are still being finalized, and Israel's government hasn't formally approved the deal yet. The agreement is actually very similar to a ceasefire proposal that US President Joe Biden made in May last year. But there are lots of reports that it was pressure on Israel from incoming US President Donald Trump that made the difference this time.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk, Steve Witkoff, who is basically one of, Trump's guys, which let me go ahead and show you guys who this dude is. He was the one, if I'm not mistaken, that was actually golfing with Trump when he almost got assassinated. This guy right here. Right? Steve Witkoff, right? Stephen Charles Witkoff is an American billionaire and real estate investor, lawyer, and diplomat who serves the United States Special Envoy to the Middle East. He is the founder and chairman of the Witkoff Group. Yeah, he has connections with Saudi Arabia, etc. And then, as always, you go into the early life. Yeah, every single time. I know, right, chat? I know. Anyway, he has connections with the Saudis, and he has connections, obviously, in Israel, Netanyahu, etc. Now, there was a lot of talk, right, that Trump made this deal happen. But the reality is that this deal had been in place from before, right? Biden had been trying to push it for a very long time, and Netanyahu wasn't kind of budging. Now, let me tell you guys why he wasn't budging. There was a multitude of things that Israel wanted that the Democratic White House would only allow under certain contingencies, right? Israel doesn't like that. Israel wants to be able to wage their war and do it the way that they want, okay? Israel doesn't like to be beholden to us. I know. It's amazing, right? You're like, what the fuck? What do you mean they don't like to be beholden to us? Yeah, chat, yeah. I said that loud and clear. They like to take our money and do what they want, and we don't impose any standards. That's what they do. That's what they've always done. That's what they want.
And to be completely honest, why should they ask for anything different? It's been like that forever and a day. They pretty much control our politics, control what we say, what we do, and everybody's okay with it as long as the money keeps on flowing in.
Okay? With that said, one of the things that they really cared about was getting these 2,000-pound bombs and being able to utilize them, right? And also, throughout this time, since Biden was stalemating, dragging his feet, not signing off on certain things, withholding weapons, withholding aid to Israel, this really pissed off the Israeli government. Netanyahu, to be exact, okay? Though they looked like they were having a good time on camera, right, being diplomatic and nice and all the pictures and all this shit, there was a fucking war going on between the two different nations, okay? Because keep in mind, guys, the Democrats, right, they're in a rock at a hard place because the Israeli lobby still controls the Democratic Party. But this war has really bad optics from a humanitarian standpoint. Remember at the beginning of the broadcast, guys, I told you guys that people oppose Israel for two different reasons, right? People on the left have their reasons, and people on the right have their reasons. The people on the left, when they oppose Israel, it almost always comes from the humanitarian, apartheid, oppression, colonization angle. And in this case, the genocide angle, right? Which is what the left often argues. These people are Biden's constituents. But on the other hand, his donors and a lot of his supporters are Zionist. Okay? And this is one of the biggest differences between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Republican Party openly cucks for Israel. The Democrat Party secretly cucks for Israel. One more time for you niggas, okay? Because other political commentators aren't going to tell you this raw truth.
Yeah, and I've been saying this forever. There's it's a uniparty. It's the same thing, same party on there. It's just one of them is more open about it than the other one. That's really what it is. It gives the illusion that there's two parties, but Americans are, I guess, just blind, deaf, and stupid, and they can't see that. But it's been like that for God knows how long.
The Republican Party openly cucks for Israel. When I was at the RNC, I saw American flags and Israeli flags. No fucking shame in the world. The Democratic Party, okay, covertly cucks for Israel. When Benjamin Netanyahu came here and visited, right, the United States, and he addressed Congress, President Trump, or well, at the time, before he was president, but the Donald Trump when he was running, right, or he was elected actually, when he was elected, what did he do? He met with Benjamin Netanyahu publicly. He went to Mar-a-Lago, he met with President Trump, they had a discussion, cameras were there, no one cared. On the other hand, Kamala Harris met with Netanyahu, but she did it secretly. Okay? As you guys know, when he gave his address, a lot of the Democrats weren't there. They protested. They didn't want to be there. Right? So there's this disconnect, right? So the reason why Biden withheld aid, withheld the 2,000 bombs and a bunch of other shit, was because the Democratic Party simply didn't want to be sitting there and signing off on the mass bombing and killing of innocent people, which is what Israel was doing. Okay? So Biden dragged his feet on a lot of this stuff.
What's amazing, more amazing about it is that on the left, they're like, hey, this is genocide, this is death, this is just unmoral, this is wrong. And on the right, people are like, oh no, please kill more brown people. I want to see their death, but I want it to be America first. That's literally, on the left, people are like, this got to stop. And it continues, and the left are, this got to stop because, there's children being killed. On the right, people are like, oh no, I'm okay with brown people dying and kids dying. That actually, I'm pretty cool with that. Actually, in fact, I'll share it on. But I'm more about America first. Why are we using this money to help us? I don't care about brown people, kids dying. That actually, I'm okay with that. It's just the American first angle. And these are, of course, the same ones that say, oh, baby Jesus, Holy Spirit. I don't get it.
Now, since he dragged his feet on a lot of this stuff, Benjamin Netanyahu isn't stupid. I guarantee you guys, now that we have 2020 hindsight here, I guarantee you guys, not confirmed, but this is my suspicion off of looking at the facts. I suspect this. When this deal was proposed to Netanyahu, he said, you know what? In the back of his mind, Biden has been helpful to us. He's been holding back our weapons. He's been holding back our aid. When he does give us aid, he gives us all these fucking conditions that we don't want to fucking fulfill. Right? We just want to be able to wage this war the way that we want. Give us the tools. When Netanyahu came and addressed Congress, what did he say? Give us the tools so we can finish the job. That's what he always says. Give us the tools so we can finish the job. That's what Netanyahu always says when he cries for aid. So he said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do, Donald Trump. Since you are such a good friend of Israel, I'm going to let you come in and get sworn in on a fucking bang. I'm going to purposely not do the deal under the Biden administration. And what am I going to do? I'm going to do the deal as soon as you're sworn in under the Trump administration. Bam! Trump comes in. Huge fucking W. He comes in and they're like, oh shit. He got a ceasefire coming into office. Wow. One of the biggest differences between Trump's administration this time around and then the 2016 administration is he's getting shit done quick. If you guys notice, on day one, what did he do? He made it a point to sign a bunch of executive orders. I'm doing XYZ, I'm signing executive orders, I'm appointing my people, I'm getting my people in, I'm gonna go ahead and nominate people even if I don't know if they're gonna fucking get through. I want my loyalists in. I'm putting in Pam Bondi, I'm putting in Kristi Noem, I'm putting in P. Hegseth, I'm putting in Matt Gaetz. Even though Matt Gaetz didn't go through the confirmation, I wish he did, he would have probably got it. Right? Controversial people, Kash Patel, all these people have problems. FYI. A lot of them have problems, whether it's inexperience or controversial podcast interviews or fucking bitches on the side. A lot of these people had issues, right? But he said, fuck it. I'm getting him through, right? He's getting his people through, regardless of the controversial level, because he learned his lesson from having establishment shills like Mike Pence and John Bolton in his last establishment, right? So he said, I'm going to sign these executive orders. I'm going to go ahead and get my people through. I don't give a fuck. And I guarantee you, one of the things he told Benjamin Netanyahu, I will give you everything that you guys want. I will impose the sanctions again on Iran. I'll give you guys the 2,000-pound bombs. I'll give you guys more aid than Biden did. I'll give you guys everything you guys want. But do me this favor. Sign the ceasefire when I come into the office so I get the fucking credit for it. And then bam, he comes in. And then the whole fucking ship comes down. Everyone starts roasting Biden. Even political commentators that were on the left were saying this was a monumental failure by the Biden administration. They couldn't get this deal signed for damn near 2 years. Trump comes in on day one and gets it signed. And I'll tell you why he got it signed. He got it signed because I guarantee you, him and Benjamin Netanyahu came to an agreement. You will not sign this under the Joe Biden administration. They've already done the work, but they haven't given you what you wanted. Don't sign shit. Wait till I'm sworn in and we're going to get it through. Bam. Just like that, he gets the credit for the fucking ceasefire deal, not the Biden administration, even though the Biden administration did the majority of the work, drafting it up, etc.
And what's great about it is that even after all this scheming, you could tell that there's a lot of scheming going around there. Actually, Egypt going around going, no, this is how we're going to do it. I don't know if Trump purposely sabotaged it. Like, could only hope maybe Allah was working through his ignorance and his, narcissism of talking out loud how, no, yeah, we're just going to displace everybody out of there and then rebuild it. And everybody always saw the red flags and going, no, that's not going to happen. That is not how it's going to happen. And that's not what we're going to do. Who knows? But yeah, we don't know exactly what Israel wants to be the outcome of the whole thing. They want complete annihilation, destruction, and death. So, and yeah, how are all the so-called Muslims happy that they voted in Mr. Trump? They're like, oh, Trump, he's going to save the Middle East or something. Nonsense. But we can see that Americans, no matter what religion they are blind, deaf, and stupid to put their faith on anything else but Allah.
And looking back on it, that's why he didn't wait. That's why he didn't sign it. But when Trump came in, he signed it. So this whole pressure shit, bullshit. Bullshit. There was no pressure. Steve Witkoff, billionaire Zionist, friends with Netanyahu. So is Donald Trump, as you guys know. Netanyahu came to the United States, first official visit of a foreign leader. Who was it? Benjamin Netanyahu. What did he say as he stood across there from Donald Trump? Donald Trump is the greatest friend that we've ever had in the White House. Hell, I mean, it gets even funnier. Donald Trump stopped all aid to Ukraine. Chat, I don't know if y'all know that. Stopped all aid. Said, fuck y'all niggas. Zelensky pissed me off in the Oval Office. But guess what he did? He gave, what, $12 billion to Israel? Bro. I wish he could wag his finger at fucking Benjamin Netanyahu the same way he did as Zelensky. So yeah, that's what I think happened, chat. That's my prediction, is that this was planned from the beginning to not accept the deal under Biden administration, to give Trump the credit. And here's my proof. I think Trump knew that this ceasefire was never going to last. You guys don't believe me? Look at this.
Are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the 3 phases of the deal?
I'm not confident. That's not our war, it's their war, but I'm not confident. But I think they're very weakened on the other side.
Do you support the 2 states?
Gaza, boy.
All right, let's go play that back from the beginning, ninjas. All right, let me try to see if I can make this bigger for you guys. It's a fucking short, man. Shorts are so garbage on desktop. All right, we'll play that from the beginning, guys.
How confident are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the...
She asked, how confident, Mr. President, are you that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza? Right, and this is like literally right as he came in. This is, January 21st. He's sitting there signing his executive orders.
The 3 phases of the deal?
I'm not confident. That's not our war.
Shakes his head. I'm not confident. It's not our war.
It's their war, but I'm not confident. But I think they're very weakened on the other side.
Do you support the two-state solution?
Gaza, boy, I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really, it's got to be rebuilt in a different way.
Do you plan to help in rebuilding Gaza?
I might. You know, Gaza is interesting. It's
Are you going to rebuild Gaza? And he says, I might. Mind you, guys, this is before he had Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House and they talked about taking over Gaza, FYI.
And it was all done by taxpayers' money, which is, I think, hilarious. Taxpayers funded all that.
So you can see a little, like, watching this stuff back, it's very ominous.
a phenomenal location. On the sea, best weather. You know, everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting. But some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
Yeah, turning it into a tourist location. That's what could be done with Gaza.
How confident are you, Mr. President?
So even back then, he knew that this ceasefire deal wasn't going to last, chat. He knew it. But let's go back to the deal.
We do know that this isn't going to be without reward, that Trump is going to reward Israel.
And that could include, from the Trump administration, a green light on further annexation of occupied Palestinian territory or occupied Syrian territory.
So here's what we know so far. The deal is structured in 3 stages, and the pause in fighting is due to start on January 9th.
So stage 1, guys, is where we basically just completed. Okay, 6 weeks.
Stage 1 is meant to last 6 weeks. 33 Israeli captives, including women, children, and the elderly, will be released by Hamas and other groups. That's according to the Qatari Prime Minister. In return, Israel will release Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. There are reports that might be around 1,000 or more. Israel will start withdrawing its troops from...
And that, my friends, is why the Hannibal Directive is a thing. Because of asymmetrical trade agreements like this, where they're releasing 1,000 Palestinians for 33 Israelis. This is why Yoav Gallant admitted to them implementing the Hannibal Directive on October 7th.
From populated areas in Gaza, that means Palestinians should be able to travel around the Strip more freely. Many are desperate to go and see what, if anything, is left of their homes and neighborhoods. Remember, 90% of Gaza's population of more than 2 million people has been displaced.
We will be shocked. We will be faced by the huge and the massive destruction everywhere. I was talking just to people here after the announcement of the ceasefire, and many of them told me that I will go to the north of Gaza in order to bury my kids who are still under the rubble, to visit the graves or to make graves for my family who are still under the rubble.
Stage 1 is also about starting to address the dire humanitarian crisis in Gaza. There's supposed to be a surge in aid deliveries.
Something like 600 trucks of aid a day. Again, nowhere near as sufficient as...
And just so you guys know, they haven't really been letting aid go in there for months. They haven't had food, water coming in. They've been starving them too for a very long time. That's why you guys are saying like 600 trucks a day, bro, what the fuck? Yeah. That's what it takes to kind of correct all the lack of humanitarian assistance that they've been giving.
That's what Gaza actually needs, but it's still a lot better than what is currently getting in right now.
So that's stage 1. It's also during this period that negotiations are supposed to start for stage 2, focusing on reaching a permanent end to the war.
Okay, now this is very important. This stage 2 part, guys, is literally the turning point, okay? Because in stage 2, right, stage 1 is kind of like, all right, we're getting people back. We're going to get some humanitarian aid here. People are able to rest and recover, right, on both sides militarily, right? So the benefits both sides. And especially the Gaza side, they're able to get resources and supplies, right, which is huge. But also, at the same time, they're supposed to be at the table negotiating a permanent ceasefire. I'm going to talk about this here in a second. But this is very important because stage 2 is supposed to end the war.
It would involve Hamas releasing all the remaining living captives, including male soldiers, Israel releasing more Palestinian prisoners, and Israel withdrawing all of its forces from Gaza. If the two sides manage to get that far, then they'd move on to stage 3, with Hamas returning the bodies of any remaining dead captives and working out a long-term reconstruction plan for Gaza. So that's the outline of how it's supposed to work, in theory. But what will it take in practice for this deal to hold?
I believe that it all depends on the parties of the agreement and acting in good faith.
This could just very much well be a humanitarian pause where we see phase one being more of a symbolic gesture, and then, there's absolutely no guarantee that we'll actually see phase two or phase three pan out.
But there are obstacles to overcome even before stage one begins. The Israeli government was supposed to confirm the deal on Thursday morning, but a vote in the cabinet was postponed. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed the delay on Hamas, accusing them of going back on some details. Hamas said there was no basis to his claims and that it remains committed to the deal.
It looks a lot like a politically manufactured crisis. It is very on brand for Mr. Netanyahu to provide different interpretations to different people.
Well, this security cabinet meeting is more than a day delayed, and that's because of internal fighting within Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition. But
okay, let's talk about that. Let's really deal with the truth here about why Netanyahu didn't come back to the table. And for me to explain this, we're going to have to go through kind of everything here. Okay, guys? So bear with me because I'm going to give you guys a lot of information and a lot of details, but this is why the ceasefire cannot proceed forward. October 7th, guys, led to not just a war in Gaza, but a war all across the region. And the war in the region isn't necessarily just to stop Hamas, but it's to stop all the proxy powers that empower Hamas. Whether it is Hezbollah in the north in Lebanon, Syria, or Iran, their chief antagonizer and their chief op, or the Houthis down in Yemen. Israel has used October 7th as a way to wage war against all of their enemies in the region. Okay? Now, Israel has never been in a position like this where they can actually take the kill shot. If you go back in time to 1996, to the clean break memo, which I refer to this document many times when I come to talk about 9/11, but we're not going to talk about 9/11. We're going to talk about more is this paper outlines what is required, and it was written by a bunch of American neocons, by the way, Pearl, Feith, Wormser, etc.
I would really, people really need to research this and check it out. It is amazing. Like, all this it's all been planned out. I mean, really, all of it's been planned out.
This paper was written for Benjamin Netanyahu in 1996 on what would be required to secure Israel's preservation. And one of the chief things that was in there was removing Saddam Hussein. Well, they did that. Then it was destabilizing Syria. Well, they did that too. Bashar al-Assad is hiding over in Russia. And they got a bunch of rebels there that, quite frankly, don't want any beef with Israel. And on top of that, they destroyed all of Syria's weaponry and military installations. Right? Then it was destabilizing Yemen. They've pretty much done that. They've been bombing the hell out of them. Then it was also destabilizing Hezbollah in the north and getting rid of their leadership. They did that too. They assassinated Hassan Nasrallah. They killed all of his constituents pretty much. They killed his replacement, that guy's replacement. They killed like the whole chain of Hezbollah's leadership. Now, are there still some fighters? Yes, but they've been able to significantly reduce their effectiveness. And they launched that ridiculous pager attack, which was brilliant. I'm not even going to lie. Incredible. They put bombs in pagers, walkie-talkies, and radios, and they literally put these explosives in these devices 10 years prior. And were able to detonate them on 2 separate occasions and kill a bunch of Hezbollah fighters. The Mossad did it in Unit 8200. But the point I'm trying to make is that the axis of resistance has never been weaker than right now. Okay? Israel's chief mission is to destabilize all of these hostile countries and especially go after Iran, who is the leader of the axis of resistance and has armed all these different factions that I mentioned to you before. Okay? The last country standing now is Iran. Not only that, they're concerned that Iran is going to have nuclear capability. Well, why are they concerned if Iran has nuclear capability? Because they have nuclear capability. Israel wants to be the only country in the region that has nuclear capability, so they can have leadership in the region and dominance in the region, backed by us, of course. And Iran is really the last stand in the Middle East towards Israel's supremacy.
Yeah, because the so-called Muslim leaders, I don't know why they call themselves Muslims anymore. They probably shouldn't. They should stop. they're secular at best. On there, they're all in beheads with Israel. They don't follow anything. They follow money. They worship money, and they don't care about lives whatsoever. They just care about the bottom dollar and how much money they're going to make.
Because Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, a lot of these countries, quite frankly, they're going to recognize Israel very soon. And they wanted to recognize Israel very soon. Actually, as a matter of fact, October 7th occurred because the Gulf states were going to recognize Israel. Okay? And they were going to recognize Israel without figuring out the Palestinian question. That is why one of the main reasons why October 7th happened. Now, let's get back to this deal and the ceasefire and why it's not going to go through. Benjamin Netanyahu is a part of the Likud party. That is a far-right party that pretty much wants Israel to dominate the entire region. The Greater Israel Project, as they say. Right? This ceasefire was wildly unpopular with his party. And as a matter of fact, they threatened to remove him from power for accepting this deal. But Benjamin Netanyahu is an intelligent individual. He's been in power for a very long time. And he gets it. He understood that for him to do what he needs to do, he needed Biden out of the fucking White House. Welcome, punch! And he needed Trump in the office. Remember all those fucking tech bros that I told you guys about before? Right? All of them are Zionists. They all are. Right? They all rallied around Trump, not just because he was going to be favorable to the tech bros, but also because the lobby wanted Trump in because they knew he was going to be a far better president for Israel. Israel's in a unique position, guys, that they haven't been in ever. They're in a position where they can finally eradicate their enemies. All of them are weakened. All of their leadership has been destabilized. Some of them have even fled. But Iran is the last one standing, and they've never had this opportunity before. The next 4 years are going to dictate whether Israel continues to fight or they're able to remove their enemies. And they understand that the next president is going to heavily dictate that ability for them to take out Iran. So they knew that there was no fucking way that Kamala Harris can win. That is a big reason why so many people rallied around Donald Trump. Now, this is what the Republican Party won't tell you guys, but I will. This is why Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million. This is why David Sachs got behind him. This is why Peter Thiel got behind him. This is why Mark Zuckerberg and a lot of these other people got behind him. They won't admit this, of course, but that's a significant reason why they got behind him.
Yep. And that's why when all these Muslim brothers and sisters are all rallying behind so-called Trump and all this, I was even live going, you guys are stupid. This is stupid. It's ridiculous to think that he actually cares. He doesn't. It's been in the pocket for Israel for so long. But yeah, I think the Ummah has just become blind, deaf, and stupid. And it's funny that all the things that could be wrong with Iran, all of their just theology rise, how they misinterpret the Quran, being Shia, all those things, at least they are not bought and paid for by the West, like every single other Muslim supposedly leader. It's like this our world altogether. What can I do is keep praying. I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do what he wills, no matter what. If Allah wills it, it will happen. If he doesn't will it, it won't happen. But I thought this video was actually was good, well put together, and he brought a lot of good points. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Until next time.